Last time on Missing Stars! Our hero, Erik ate dinner at Sophia's apartment with Fran and the twins, played a truth or dare game where Natalia asked him about his limp, which threatened to bring about traumatic flashbacks. In lieu of reliving the details, Erik drank a disgusting cocktail and developed a hangover the next morning. After missing his weekend classes, Irene helped him recover. Our story picks up that afternoon when Erik finally feels ready to go see another of Katja's rehearsals.
I wonder if Katja is practicing right now. I could go for some live music. It won't hurt to check. On my way out the school building, I met with a cool breeze. The sun is out, but it isn't doing much to warm me. The grounds are peppered with students relaxing and taking advantage of the mild weather. It's a cozy, doze off underneath the coat type of afternoon, and it shows. I almost have to force myself to keep walking as this sleepy mood threatens to settle into me too. My thoughts run on autopilot while I make my way down the paths, and I'm halfway there before I realize it. I can see the chapel spire nearby, and the sight calls up memories of Katja's Wednesday practice. I'm lucky I got the invite from Katja. A musical performance by a friend is just the right balance of a lazy distraction and a chance to engage socially with someone else. From this distance, I can't tell if she's actually in there. Well, fucking obviously not, you're outside. I have the feeling that for any hour outside of classes and sleep, it's more likely than not I'll be able to find Katja at practice. I got the distinct impression that it's what she spends most of her free time doing, important as it is to her. In a few more steps, my suspicions are confirmed. Her familiar voice, singing an unfamiliar song, leaks through the tall chapel doors. This time I don't have any trouble spotting her. I know where to look, and just as I expect, she's at the front, by the altar, totally engrossed in her song. As I walk down the aisle, I notice we're not alone. There's a head of a long, cinnamon brown hair peeking out from one of the front pews, absorbed in the performance. Thinking back to my recent conversation with Katja over lunch, I decide to stop at the end of the pew and keep a respectful distance until the song is done. Whoa, she's new. I've never seen her before. From here I see that the head belongs to a shorter, somewhat pudgy girl buried in an oversized red sweater. Really? That's pudgy? She looks completely at home, her eyes fixed on Katja and following her every move. She takes no note of my presence just a few meters away. Although better than I'm waiting for a break in the set, I'd probably startle her if I got any close. Turning my attention back to Katja, I met with the desired effect. As before, her voice is reverberating from all around the chapel interior, and closing my eyes I'm able to relax to the sound. There's something to hearing Katja sing in person that I don't get out of listening to music through a set of earbuds. The latter is nice, sure, but in the chapel the song envelops me. As an experience, it draws me in deeper. I'm glad I decided to come here. The song wraps up not much later, and I open my eyes to find Katja still right by the altar. Right by the altar. I was doing so well there for a minute. Her distant gaze snaps to attention as she spots me in the aisle. She glances between me and the girl in the pew, who is herself looking at me with an uncertain expression. What? Just a fucking dude. Oh, Erik, I didn't realize you'd be here. There's an uneasy edge in her voice, but she steps over and offers a smile. Interesting. Thank you for coming. I suppose I should introduce you two. I glance again at the anonymous girl, who's looking to Katja with a bit of a plea in her eyes. Is something weird going on? It looks like I made the right move, waiting for Katja to perform the introduction for us. Whoever this is, she doesn't look like she's comfortable talking to a stranger on her own. Maybe that's why Katja was a bit uneasy at first. Okay, that's understandable. Erik, this is Eleanor. She's a good friend of mine and goes by Nell. Nell, this is Erik, a new student. I've invited him to attend my sessions as he pleases. As Katja says this, she's still glancing between us, almost as though she's seeking reassurance. I'm not sure what to make of the expression, but I do my best to give Nell a polite acknowledgement. It's nice to meet you, Nell. She gives a small nod at the words, but still doesn't make eye contact. She's holding her hands up against her shoulder blades and squeezing them methodically. I think that means something, but I can't recall what. Nice to meet you too. You're Katja's friend? The question is neither accusatory nor judgmental. She asks it like she would, in fact, appreciate clarification about the relationship Katja and I have. I also realize I'm not confident enough to answer her. Why the fuck not? Dude, weird. At this point I'd call Katja my friend, yeah, but I'm worried I'll come off presumptuous if I do. We're friends, yes. Yes. I don't give a shit if I'm being friendzoned by her. Having a friend as cool as that's just, freaking reward enough, you know? The answer also seems to satisfy Nell, who makes a contented noise. Erik's going to be at your sessions? I might now and again. I hope that's not a problem. I add the last part hastily. Katja described Nell as a good friend, and I realize I might have stepped into a more personal space than I'm welcome. Okay, yeah, self-aware, good. Still, she did invite me here. Nell shakes her head. Not a problem. Katja's an amazing singer. More people should come to see her. Oh, I wouldn't say that. She's right, they should. I enjoy being here, it's relaxing. It is! Katja's singing feels so nice to listen to, so I come here, especially when I need to not feel bad things. I stare at her for a second. The straightforward way she voices her reasoning is jarring at first, but refreshing when I think about it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's actually why I came here today. I was tired, feeling some of the wrong things, and now I feel them less. Katja swells a little. I appreciate that. It's good to know my singing can, in fact, help others. I'm sure we're not the first ones to say so. Yes, I've been saying so for a while. Katja's smile only grows, though she's struggling to contain it. By the way, yes, I do have 2 drakes here, fucking sue me. Well, that is all rather hyperbolic. I do have a few more songs in this set, so I should resume. I'm grateful you're both here, though. Of course, I'm glad to be here. She turns around and steps again to the front, while I sit in the pew near Nell. She's relaxed since the introductions, smiling and comfortably indifferent to my presence. We both watch Katja take a few breaths and position herself before launching into the next song in her set. It's just as skillfully performed as the last, and I find myself impressed with her consistency. She told me she's been practicing since her early childhood, but with this degree of skill, she must have poured thousands of hours into it over the past decade. For her part, Nell is fixedly looking at Katja and swaying side to side with the rhythm. Her hands are still squeezing at her sides, and the expression she wears is one of pure joy. Aw, that's sweet. It's a heartwarming sight, and I find myself wondering just how the two of them met, as different as they seem. For now, I close my eyes again and lean back in the pew, letting each song wash over me and joining with Nell's applause in between. It's a bit childish, the two of us clapping for a coy Katja in the otherwise empty chapel. It's also a pure, unadulterated kind of pleasure I can't help but indulge in. The next 10 or 15 minutes go by as Katja wraps up her set. During our final round of applause, she gives a playful bow. Thank you for sitting through all that. Hey, I do really enjoy being here for it, though, so thank you for inviting me. Of course. You should keep coming, Erik. I think Katja does better with more people, and she's already really good. And we can clap louder with 2 of us. She has a point. Applause is integral to a successful performance, I'm sure. I'll do my best to, yeah. Good. It looks like you have yourself the beginnings of a loyal fanbase, Katja. Oh dear, should I start printing t-shirts and distributing them at exorbitant prices? Yeah, you might need a few of us before you do that. I'd wear one of your t-shirts, Katja. They should just say Katja, since there's only one of you. It's not an incredibly rare name, Nell. But the others Katjas are different. They usually aren't Katja who sings, that's you. Only Katja who sings would have a t-shirt. So there's only one of you. Can't really argue with that logic, Katja. She's trying to contain a smile again, and doing about as well as last time. Now, I have a strict practice regimen to maintain, and this premature praise is threatening my motivation. Is it really? Well, perhaps not. Thank you again. Sure, let us know if you need help with the t-shirts. Oh god, I just had a horrible thought. Katja has bandages on her wrists, as has been pointed out by Erik. So if she's a self-harmer, which would be fucking tragic for such an awesome person, did she gouge out her own eye? Did she, like, injure herself? Oh my god, that would be fucking heartbreaking. I certainly will. A comfortable quiet settles between us for a moment. The late sun shining through the stained glass warily paints us in assorted colors. I should probably go, Katja. I need to spend some time with Kat. Kat? Yes, she's my cat. You have a cat named Kat. Is that short for Catherine or something? Nell tilts her head like she can't tell why anyone would ask that question. No, it's long for Cat. Your cat's name is just Cat? Is it a bad name? I don't think so, it's just I've never heard of a cat named Cat. That's good. If they were all named Cat, it would be very confusing. Cat's my only cat, so I gave her an easy name. I'm sensing this is a common theme with Nell, a sort of near logic that makes sense if you mentally squint at it. I appreciate how plain it is. I'm actually kind of liking Nell now. Katja, meanwhile, looks like she's trying not to giggle at my obvious bewilderment. That makes sense, I suppose. Yes. Another pause has just moments to settle before Katja interjects. Dude, she's like the freaking savior of this school. Don't let us keep you now. Cat needs singing to. Yes. Goodbye. She gives us a wave and gets up, squeezing past where I'm seated. We watch her take quick, rhythmic steps down the aisle and disappear through the door. As I'm pondering what to say next, Katja gives what I can only describe as a sheepish, apologetic smile. Nell is a bit of a character. I hope she didn't bother you. Dude, of course not. This throws me off. I'm not sure what she can mean by that. Nell didn't exactly come off like a normal person, but I know better than to expect that here. She wasn't any more unusual than the next student, and not unpleasant in the least. If anything, she seems to be a supportive, close friend to Katja. In light of that, I don't know what to make of Katja's apology. So, she seems really nice, seems like a neutral statement, right? It just seems like, the typical good thing to say. And she does seem really nice, so it would be truthful. Saying that, I'm glad that you have a friend like her. The thing is, I don't know too much about Nell. And the fact that Katja immediately apologized for her presence seems perplexing. I'm gonna go with the safe option. Not at all. She seems really nice, actually. Kind and gentle. The way she looks at you and talks about you is heartwarming, to be honest. Katja bites her lip and breaks eye contact. It's a confusing response. Have I said something wrong? She responds before I can ask. I'm glad you had that impression. People are often taken with her, yes. Ooh, what happened? What happened there? Oh, god damn it. I blew it. I fucking blew it. I was focused on complimenting the friend rather than focusing on Katja's needs. Okay, well, there goes my whole thing with Katja. Katja's steering the conversation off course. It's perturbing, and I scratch my head at the sudden tangent. Yeah, I guess. I just meant it was good to meet her. Yes, well, it was inevitable after all. Her slow intonation seems almost bitter. I can make neither heads nor tails of it, and I decide to try and steer the conversation back. Right, anyway, how did you two meet? This gets her to make eye contact with me again, but there's displeasure in her look. That's a long and involved tale for another time. The short of it is we met years ago when I'd first arrived, and we took to each other quickly. From the curt tone she uses, it's clear I'm not going to get an elaboration on that. Still, why? I try to keep the conversation going. I guess knowing each other for that long, you're bound to grow close. Does Katja just not like Nell? You seem pretty different, though. I thought that was interesting. I suppose we are. Nell is autistic, while I'm the epitome of a conventional socialite. In that respect, we couldn't be more different. Still, we have plenty enough in common to get along. Oh, that makes sense. I knew I recognized those hand movements from somewhere. Yes, I expect you would. It's called stimming. Nell does it most when she's stimulated in a conversation, so it's an effective gauge of her excitement or anxiety. In this case, I think she had a bit of the latter before the former kicked in. She struggles a bit with new people, you understand. Right, I hope I didn't cause any problems. Katja sighs and chews on a thought, apparently torn while deciding what to say. When she speaks, the words come out more slowly than usual, even more measured. No, Erik, you don't have to worry about that. Nell is always uncomfortable at first, but in my presence she's quick to warm up to people. At the very least, her discomfort resolves before long. You cause no more problems on that front, rest assured. On that front? Does that mean I cause problems elsewhere? Yes! Okay, cool. Something's odd about this interaction. Katja's not acting the way she usually does. I'd hate to make a poor first impression. Your concern is understandable. You don't have a great track record in that department. There's the playful, pretentious Katja I'm used to. Maybe whatever's been eating at her is wearing off. Seriously, what the hell's going on? What are you up to now? You're done with your set, right? That's right. I don't think I have settled plans at the moment. That's an awfully vague and vaguely suggestive answer. It seems I'm expected to prod. Did you maybe want to hang out somewhere? It's nice out today. She smiles at me, and I detect a hint of something different in the expression. The way her brow is furrowed, I guess it was a sad smile. I don't know why that would be. Perhaps another time, Erik. I don't think now is good. Oh my god, did I really fuck up? Oh, alright. Yep, I fucked up. You okay? The same smile. A bit less veiled this time. I'll be fine. Okay. I'll see you later? Yes, until later. Something really weird just happened in that conversation. I can't put my finger on what. I have no idea. She gives me a subdued wave and leaves. As her footsteps echo away, I realize that her absence has been replaced by a faint pit in my stomach. I can't let go of the feeling that something went wrong in that conversation, somehow, somewhere. I also can't for the life of me place what it might have been. I stay seated in the pew for a while, mulling over the exchange and trying to figure out why Katja's tone may have shifted. Was it something I said? Something I didn't say? Or maybe I'm just imagining it? I don't want to fall into the trap of overthinking every social interaction I have, but I don't want to underthink either. Between the questions in my head, this is why I'm so asocial, because I can't ever figure out what the fuck people are thinking. Between the questions in my head, a heavy creaking comes from a door to my side. Father Max steps through the same room as last time and scans the pews. He spots me and, with a nod, starts to walk over. I shouldn't be surprised that he's here, but I'm concerned about how much he might have heard. I stand up just as he nears me, and I give him a polite nod myself. Hello, Erik. How are you? Hello, Father. I've been alright. I was just here for Katja's practice. I noticed her usual Saturday set. What did you think of it? It was incredible, like before. I also met her friend Nell. Yes, she does like to come in now and again. She liked you well enough. There's the first hint that he knows more than he's letting on at the moment. Oh, what the fuck? Like, She seems really nice. She certainly is. I don't know how to continue the thread, but Father Max is content to watch me with his patient smile. I get the feeling that he's inviting me to continue. If he overheard the conversation I had with Katja, I can understand why. This might be an implicit offer to answer the questions I've got milling around in my head. There's nothing to lose by asking tactfully. Actually, I feel like I might have messed up with Katja just now, but I don't know how. I see. His response indicates neither judgment nor reticence. It's clear enough that he wants me to continue. It's just that her tone was suddenly different from our previous conversations. She sounded a little upset, but she wouldn't let on why. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Ah. He nods with the calm of someone who's had this conversation a hundred times. Would you like to know what I think, Erik? I can tell from the way he asks that he wants me to know what he thinks. I'm genuinely interested, though, so I nod. It's natural for you to be worried about overthinking, especially in an environment such as this. A new environment such as this. I can read. First and foremost, however, I'd advise you to trust your instincts. I'm not sure how much my instincts are telling me, though. They're telling you that you did wrong! That in itself is knowledge. What? If you don't have strong instincts about a situation, that's probably evidence that you don't know enough to deduce anything. If you're ever at risk of overthinking, it's when you try to power through the agnosticism of your instincts. So you're saying that I am overthinking it? No, not yet. Not yet? From what you've said, I gather that your instincts have told you Miss Bohm is upset, and not much more, correct? Pretty much. Then it is probably wisest that you take away that, and not much more, from the conversation for now. Maybe Father Fax thinks he's being sagely and helpful, but this is just confusing me more. It makes sense, though. You can only act on the knowledge that you actually have. You can extrapolate and make presumptions, but you shouldn't trust those presumptions too much, because you may make the wrong inference. Then again, I'm socially inept, so what the fuck do I know? Sorry, I don't think I get it. He offers a sympathetic smile. Jesus fuck. Let me put it this way. You are likely used to dealing with a specific type of person. You might use the word normal to describe that type. We prefer to use neurotypical. You are used to such a person because by and large your environment has only exposed you to such people. Your lifetime of experiences with them has helped you to develop a sense for interacting with and understanding them. In other words, you know how a neurotypical person works. Right, but here you meet very few such people. Therefore, you will often not know how someone works. The sense that you have developed will be regularly confused and perplexed. That's fine, because this is a new environment. You should be patient with yourself, and with them, because you will need time to develop a new sense. You may have to develop a different one for each person, too, since our student body is quite varied. That's actually the thing that was curious most to me about this whole concept of having a school for the mentally disabled. Yes, it's a kind of parallel to Katwa Shoujo, which was a school for the physically disabled, but the personalities and the needs of people with mental illnesses is extremely varied. Not all mentally ill people are the same. there's actually quite a bit of difference between every single person who even has the same illness. Whatever your instincts tell you now indicate the limits of your newly adapting senses. You shouldn't push them before they're ready to discern more. You're saying I'm not going to understand what just happened. Not today, no. I wouldn't try to in your shoes. But I would trust that the understanding will come with time if you are patient. That makes a little more sense. Still smiling, he sighs. It's a tired sigh, and it shows in his weary eyes. Bear in mind, Erik, we faculty are people too. We watch students come and go, and we have a sincere interest in their well-being. These aren't the idle words of an indifferent priest who hardly remembers your name. I'm invested in the success of our students, and I want to help you as far as I can. This seems to be Father Max's way of saying that if he could be more specific, he would. I think I understand better now, Father. Thanks for the explanation. Very good. I will leave you to it then. He gives me another nod and steps away to a different room, presumably attending to his priestly duties in the various corners of the chapel. I take a minute to consider his advice. In his own way, Father Max was telling me that Katja probably was upset, but that I shouldn't make any assumptions as to why. Exactly. Patience was a recurring theme, which I imagine means that with time all will be clear. Or so I hope. Depends on your attentiveness. It's not worth something stressing over right now. That much I know. I yawn and reconsider the chapel. The day's been growing older, and I notice that the sun is beginning to set. The stained light tinge distinctly orange. Despite the awkward conversation, I think I'm better off for having come here. Whatever slight malaise I may have about my conversation with Katja is a small price to pay for the relaxing atmosphere. I love this development of Erik, actually. I love the way that he's learning more and more about how to deal with these people who are just, fundamentally different than people he's grown up with. Now I think it's time for dinner. I wake out of a dead sleep to the sound of my phone vibrating. It reverberates through the wood of the desk where I set it last night, and the sound almost feels like an earthquake inside my skull. Ugh. The phone's in my hand before I know it, and I'm trying to peel my eyes open to see what it says. It's Ella. Hey Erik, are you awake? My mother always told me it was wrong to lie. I fumble around with the keys until I've written the reply. I am now. She comes back about a half minute later, as I'm beginning to drift off to sleep again. Awesome, let's hang out. Can I come over? What? It's almost 10 o'clock. I should be up already, so why not? Sitting up in bed, I blink the sleep away and text back one more time telling her to give me 10 minutes or so. I've only just come back from brushing my teeth when I hear the knock on the door. One sec. One last tug and my trousers are on. I pull a nice blue and white button down out of the closet and open the door, still working on the buttons. Hi! I step aside to let her in, and the heavy plastic shopping bag she's carrying. Hey Ella, what's up? You weren't in class yesterday. Everything okay? You mean Irene didn't tell you? She was sort of vague. You were sick or something? Sick, huh? That sounds about right. Yeah, basically. Well, I hope you're feeling better. Want to go for a walk? I brought food. Yeah, sure. I take one step toward the door and realize I'm still on my socks. Oh. While I'm lacing up my shoes, Ella starts with her questions. I can't say I didn't see them coming. Still doing okay? With school and stuff, I mean. I think so. Why does she look so sad about that? You said you'd think of something I could help with. Man, I'd forgotten I even said that. Fuck. You could always write this essay for me. It's due on Monday. She sighs and her eyes give an exaggerated roll. Ella seems intent on getting outside as soon as possible. The moment I'm done with my shoes, she drags me out the door and down the hallway. She seems like a very insistent person. Wait, do I need my jacket? It didn't even occur to me. Then again, Ella's not wearing one. Yes, she is. Oh, no, it's gorgeous out today. Warmer than it's been all week. Figures. The one day we don't have to walk to class. Sure enough, it's plenty warm enough to be outside without any extra layers. The sun is sparkling on wet grass and only a few cottony clouds dot the sky. What did I tell you? I take in the fresh air and lift my face up to warm in the sunlight. Ah, it's picnic weather. So where are we headed? To the lake. Where else would you have a picnic? We set up at one of the picnic tables in the grassy clearing by St. Divnaz Pond. Our feet are soaked with dew by the time we get there. The sun's high enough now to fill the clearing and light up the surface of the pond, but it obviously hasn't been for long. It's almost chilly, cooler here than in the wider courtyards and the walkways of the school where the sunlight has been resting all morning. I look around at the handful of students who've had the same idea as Ella, wondering if I'll see someone I recognize. There's several groups and couples, some seated around the tables and others on top of a big sheet they've laid on the grass. But no, nobody I know. When I look back at Ella, she's already got the table all set. 2 cups of a foamy white liquid and plastic containers of a food I don't know the name of. What do you think? She gestures to the table and grins adorably. Aw, rice and chicken. Tavuk pilav. It's street food where I come from. You mean Turkey, right? Yep. I wasn't sure if it was impolite to ask, but I could tell by the accent you didn't grow up in Austria. I can't do accents. Yeah. So what's this? Ella's eyes follow my pointing finger to the cups sitting on the table, and then she smiles even wider. It's called ayran. It's a little weird, but I hope you like it. I take a sip of that first. It's salty. Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's not bad. You think so? Glad you like it. I can't quite say I like it, but the food proves to be much more to my liking. We dig into our individual containers and talk about school. The conversation eventually turns to the festival coming up next week. So, about Dankfest, want to get turned? I'm finishing off the last of the P11. Oh, P11, rice P11. What the fuck am I talking about? Jesus fucking Christ. When she changes the subject. I maybe need a little help. Is she Shizune? She's totally fucking Shizune. Fuck. I knew this meal came at a price. What? No. I really did want to hang out with you. I'm just kidding, Ella. What do you need? She takes a moment to lower back into her seat and get her feathers unruffled. Well, the school does a sort of open house, you know, for parents, relatives, potential donors. Sorry I didn't tell you earlier, you probably want your family to come visit. I hope it's not too late to tell them about it. My sisters should be free next week. It wouldn't hurt to invite them over since they didn't get to take a look at the school when we first came here. I'll give them a call tonight. Awesome! So anyway, I'm in charge. Oh, she looks pensive as shit. So anyway, I'm in charge of organizing the group who's making up all the decorations and stuff for the open house. We're a little understaffed, and you could use an extra pair of hands. She's totally Shizune, god damn it. More than just one pair, really. Do you have time next week? We meet up after class. The face is hard to say no to. Yeah, I can. Oh, okay. I mean, honestly, if I was given a choice, my first instinct would be to say yes anyway, because, like, how the fuck would you, like, say no to somebody who was this fucking courteous to you and just asked for a favor? Thanks, Erik. I knew I could count on you. I don't suppose you know anyone else who'd be up for it. Any girls you've met? Shit. I've met my fair share of girls here, but I don't think I have the necessary charm to convince any of them to give up their afternoons for a week. I'm not really sure how that trick worked on me just now, honestly. It's a great chance. You know, if there's anyone you've met who you'd like to spend some more time with, fucking Lena, for the whole week leading up to the first day of the festival. As her eyes grow narrower, her smile devilishly curls up. Maybe score a date to the gala? I know a lot of girls who would kill for a date. I can't take that look anymore. It's almost as bad as Irene. Okay, I get it. I throw up my hands in defeat. So, got anyone in mind? I can't pick Lena. Thinking about this in character. Gina Solda, I don't know as well as some of the other people, so I'm not too keen on them. Quiet Girl, I can't imagine that she would. Well, maybe she might be willing to help. Twins and their friend. I mean, obviously they would be my first choice just because Fran is awesome and Natalia's funny. Sophia, I don't even think goes to the school. Katja is my number 2, possibly number 1 at the moment. But I mean, she has to practice for choir, so it's like I don't know. Fuck it. Quiet Girl. Do you know the girl who sits next to me in class, Annalise? I don't know what that says about me. We barely talked, if that can even be called talking. Maybe it's because I barely know her. She's a mystery and I want to figure her out. You could say that. I've never talked to her, though. I don't know much about her, but if you think she would be help, definitely go for it. Can you ask her on Monday? Yeah, if Miss Clace doesn't catch me passing notes in class. I'll think of something, don't worry. Alright then. Well, you've got your mission and I've got mine. Any questions? I've got it. I'll let you know what I've asked. Great, thank you so much for helping, Erik. I really appreciate it. Ella picks up her makeshift picnic spread in one smooth, careful motion. I have to get going now, but I'll talk to you later. See ya. That's it for the pre-route, ladies and gentlemen. We got to hang out with some of the girls, except for Lena, because of course I would fuck that up on the first playthrough. But, you know what? It works out, because Anna's route is one of my favorites, and I hope you enjoy it. So, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.